Good evening and welcome to SBS World News Australia. I'm Anton Enos.
And I'm Nina Maratha. The Sri Lankan military appears set to launch its final offensive against the Tamil Tiger rebels. It comes as the Red Cross warns that tens of thousands of civilians still trapped in the war zone are in a catastrophic situation. Earlier, the Tamil Tigers ignored a deadline to surrender.
For thousands of Tamils, this is the long road to freedom. For the third day in a row, the Sri Lankan military has juggled fighting separatists and transporting civilians from the war zone. Tens of thousands of people hold on to all they have left and wait for instructions from the army. For many, it's been a heartbreaking journey just to get this far. Those crossing the lagoon that separates the two sides know they're lucky to have escaped the violence, but carry the consequences of a bloody civil war. If they can't escape on foot, they pack onto small boats under the protection of the Navy. But even in the hands of the military, many will never find peace. Overnight, soldiers backed the Tamil Tigers into an ever-shrinking strip of territory, cutting their stronghold in two. This was in response to the snubbing of a government deadline and the Tigers' refusal to surrender. As the war continues, so too does the propaganda, each side accusing the other of endangering innocent civilians. Human rights groups condemn both, saying the rebels have used innocent people as human shields, while the government has been indiscriminately shooting.
We are extremely worried about these tens of thousands of civilians who are trapped in this rapidly shrinking no-fire zone. We consider their situation at present to be nothing short of catastrophic.
And it's destined to get worse, with the army poised to launch its final assault at any moment. It's a situation that set off protests around the world. More than 10,000 people gathered at Canada's Parliament House, angry about the way the Sri Lankan government has handled the assault. It was a sentiment echoed in Paris, where some protesters are entering their 15th day without food. There were similar scenes in London and in Sydney.
I'm very distressed. We haven't heard from them for months.
Even if the end of the war is in sight, the Sri Lankan government still faces enormous challenges, bringing together the country's Tamil and Sinhalese populations. Peter Jane Madam, World News Australia.
And up to